This is both a reminder and a sample of BTS's influence, power, and popularity. All Jin had to do was walk from the gates of the barracks and into the arms of his band members, and the entire world is talking about it. The kind of global attention that they commanded is something that no one has been able to do in the 18 months that BTS has to rest as a group. And I think that is why it is scary for a lot of people, irritating, especially for the haters, because they had 18 months and no one has ever come close. This is both ARMY and BTS demonstrating to everybody that if you want to claim you're close to the kind of success BTS has, then this is the minimum that you should be able to achieve, and no one has been able to achieve that. Because remember, BTS actually never peaked. With the popularity that they had, the success that they had, they never peaked. Because they were interrupted by COVID. They were supposed to do Map of the Soul. That was going to be all stadiums. The stadiums that they went to, performed in, that was supposed to be for the Love Yourself encore. But Map of the Soul is when we were supposed to witness, the whole world was supposed to witness just how much they can pull in all the stadiums they were going to be performing in. That never happened. And this is a peak of the kind of command that we could have seen. Now, I don't necessarily think they would be peaking the same way they would have peaked had they not been interrupted by COVID. After all, this is chapter 2. But I do think for sure that it is going to come in the form of creative evolution. I think they're going to finally enter, not finally, but they're starting to, and they will fully enter into a new zone to a certain extent. It's not, they will transcend K-pop and just establish themselves musically and artistically. Something that is just as respected, maybe even more respected, but also sustainable, so that when they eventually want to settle down or slow down, they will still be able to continue doing what they like doing without having to submit themselves into something so rigorous and busy. But that is what's scary. They haven't peaked, and this is the beginning of it. This chapter 2 is the beginning of their peak. I don't think we have witnessed anything like this. And when I mean this, it's Jin completing his military service and commanding global attention, from Billboard to Wall Street Journal to Reuters to CNN to primetime news, not just in Korea but all over the world, commanding global international attention just because he walked out of the gates of the barracks and into the arms of his members. That's one. And his entire group actually welcoming him and congratulating him and celebrating with him. We have witnessed a lot of groups sending off their members, but I think this is the first time we've actually seen the entire group welcoming one of the members and celebrating with him after. There seems to be a conscious effort to assure the fans, ARMY specifically, that they are still there. That obviously the music has changed. We're starting to hear that now, that they are changing artistically, evolving artistically, but it seems that they're sort of delivering a message that they are still very much committed to the band and to the fandom. And I think that is what is intimidating for a lot of other groups, irritating for a lot of haters, and comforting for ARMYs. And so this is just an attempt to try and sort of gather all the thoughts that I've had in this event with him getting discharged. I will be echoing some of the thoughts that you sent my way, and let's see what's going to happen in the next several months, because it's going to be interesting. Okay, if you end up liking this video, please give it a like, subscribe, and hit that notification button, and share the video if you can. Okay, onto the video. That OT7 picture is love. That's pure love. I really can't see any reason for them to do it other than them wanting to comfort ARMYs. I think they are very much in tune with just how much ARMYs are missing them and they just want to comfort armies. This is speculation, by the way, but they really have no reason to do it. And we all know that Suga, and Jimin and Jungkook are trying to stay very low. Probably the plan was to stay low until the completion of their service, but they decided to publish it, and I think there is no reason for them to do it. They're fine. I mean, the seven of them are still talking. They are still seeing each other. So for them to decide to come out of hiding and publish it, I think that's just for armies. That there is no other reason for them to do it but armies, and I really, really appreciate that. BTS is strongest when they are together, and for us to see the brotherhood staying strong, the bond staying strong, I think is proof that there's still a lot to come and that there's still a lot for them to achieve together. Again, I'm not necessarily talking about their commercial success, but just as a group creatively, there's still so much to come. But I think more than that, for armies, as an army, what I value the most is seeing just how committed they are to each other. We have witnessed other groups send off their member to the military when they sign up for the service. But I think this is the first time when the entire group actually comes together to welcome a member after he completes the service. That's something, right? They sent him off and they welcome him back. That's something. And that is why they are a cut above the rest, because when it comes to work ethic, they are unparalleled, and when it comes to their bond and their commitment to each other, they are a different level. And then there is ARMY's commitment to BTS. The announcement of the event, the hug event, it actually happened less than a month before the actual event. And so armies, practically, for international armies, had very little time to file for a leave of absence from their work, to book their flight, book their hotel, and they still showed up by the hundreds. Many of them went to Korea even though they didn't win the raffle, just so they could be there when he gets discharged. And this is a testament that international armies didn't leave. They're still there. They're just waiting for the return. And this can also be seen on social media, because a lot of international armies actually had projects in their hometown just to celebrate the return of Jin. And then there is the kind of focus that many armies demonstrated on the day of his return. There were like 2 or 3 articles, if you are aware by now of the kind of trick that other people are trying to pull to distract people from BTS's return. 2 or 3 articles were published about new kind of controversies, but there were very few armies so engaged. Most armies were just focused on BTS, and this is when army is at its best. This is why army is scary, because of the kind of thing that they can achieve when they really focus. And so this is just the beginning, and I hope that the fandom will stay focused. But yeah, for those who joined later in the career of BTS, then you're in for such a glorious surprise. Just the kind of the things that armies will be able to achieve when they focus. In the first Weverse Live of Jin, one thing he was very clear about is that this event is his idea. He wanted this. And that Big Hit was initially opposed to it because of security and safety reasons. So let's remember, they're not saying no just for the sake of saying no. They're saying no because they are concerned about security and safety, not just of Jin, but also of armies, of all the things that have been going on. They have to think about it. So initially, he wanted to do this in an open air event and then just hug everybody that he can hug. But, they had to compromise. But I think this is a clear message that BTS is in charge of their careers. The CEO, Shin Young-jae, in I think the only interview he ever granted with Asahi, a Japanese media agency, he said that most of the time the disconnect between Big Hit and BTS is because of safety and precautions, and because they have to think not just of what they can do to make BTS popular, but also the safety, the health, and security of BTS and the fans. Now, the thing is that at the end of the day, it's still BTS that makes the call. And unlike other fans or other groups that he has worked with, BTS's point of view is always from the point of view of armies. And for them, it's always what will be the best for armies. And they themselves will be willing to make the sacrifice if it's going to mean it's going to be better, a better experience for armies. And so I think he emphasized that because it's important for the fans to know that BTS makes the call, that they are just there to make things happen in the safest way possible, to take care of the members' health and their mental health as well, physical and mental health. But at the end of the day, BTS makes the call. And for BTS, armies always come first. As I've said in the opening, BTS hasn't peaked. And I think it's going to happen in Chapter 2. Now, whether or not they're going to peak the same way they would have peaked had they not been interrupted is another question altogether. But I think for sure they're going to peak. We are going to witness them evolving artistically and creatively so drastically that I think they will change even us and the way that we look at them as artists. I think that by the end of the run of this era, when they come back together, by the end of that era, I think they will transform who they are as artists, not just artistically, but also from a branding perspective. I think they will lose the boy band brand or image, and even us as fans, we will just start seeing them, if we haven't already, for those who haven't already, people will just see them as artists, that they are not. People are going to look at them and say, yeah, no, this is not K-pop anymore. This is not K-pop anymore. And I think that's where they are headed. And that's why I'm so excited for them to start together again. I think having individual successes, I think that has a lot to do with who will they become as a group again. Having that some sort of security of knowing that you were able to hack it on your own, I think that's a big thing. Having to a certain extent, explore their own artistry, I think that's very important. So yeah, I think that is the peak that I am most excited about. Them peaking artistically or evolving artistically and creatively so drastically that even we will be changed as fans. And they will change how the industry will look at them and how the industry will look at other K-pop idols, not just K-pop idols, but just pop stars in general. If there's any role that I wish armies could play, or at least some of us, it would be a reminder to the outside world that BTS is now really exploring their artistry, and I hope that we could loosen up a little bit on the expectation. They are here to see and really evolve as artists, and that's what we all want as fans as well. And so a lot of people have the tendency to look at their numbers and see how much they're selling, or the stocks, and those are good indications or indicators. But at the end of the day, let's remember that they did say in the beginning of Chapter 2 that they really want to go back to doing things for music. And so I hope that we could, as fans, constantly remind the world that they're not there for commercial success anymore. They're there so that they could explore their artistry, and they deserve that. What is the effect of HYBE's internal strife on Jin and the rest of BTS? Nothing. As you can see, they're very much okay. But okay, kidding aside, as we all know, Big Hit is a private company. It is 100% owned by HYBE, but it is a private company, and rightfully so. We all know that there was an attempt to access their records, their contracts, their payment, and there was an attempt to talk to their accountant. That is unacceptable. Anybody who tries and touch them should meet maximum penalty. But Big Hit and HYBE should exert all effort to make sure that 15th floor is locked down. All data security technology should be implemented. But yeah, no effect, as I've said, as you can see. But I mean, in the entire process, there is nothing, as we all know, nothing much we can do about the fact that their name will always be dragged by new groups. So, okay. But at the very least, Big Hit and HYBE should make anything, they should do everything and anything to make sure that BTS remains safe, their records, their music, all of their plans. When will Jin release an album? I don't know. I'm not an insider of HYBE. I know that I've been accused of getting paid by HYBE, but I can assure you that all the top 4 auditing firms in the US can combine their forces with the White House, CIA, FBI, Pentagon, and look at and the worst of them all, my own mother, can look at my bank account and all my communications, and they will not see anything from HYBE. They will see something from Weverse whenever I buy something from Weverse. But that being said, I do think that Jin is going to release his own album. And I do remember him saying that before he joined the military, that he was trying to gather some songs. So I am going to be excited with what he's going to be releasing, because I can't predict where he's going artistically. I think that's the one thing that excites me. Like, of all the 7 members, all the other 6, of the 7 members, he's the one I'm not quite sure in terms of musical direction. So I'm very excited. When did Shin Young-jae, the CEO of Big Hit, take over, and what is the role of Bang Si-hyuk? He is a producer. He's concentrating on producing. When he resigned as CEO of HYBE, he said that it is because he wanted to concentrate on just producing and writing music, and that is what he has been doing. Now, Shin Young-jae, I think, took over like late 2021, I would say. He was definitely already with BTS when they decided to make the announcement that they were going to start doing solo activities. In the Asahi interview, he was asked whether or not he was nervous that when BTS decided to do it, they were drinking and stuff like that. Why didn't they just do it in a formal announcement or something? And he said that at the end of the day, BTS makes the decision. And he just makes it happen. So BTS wanted to do it that way, so they did it that way. Second is that he said that if it was in a group and they were drinking, it's probably going to make him nervous, and they will probably get guided a little bit more. But because BTS has always been this way, they have always made the decision and communicated with armies directly, and they have been good about it. He's not really nervous about it. They know, in other words, they know what they are doing more than anybody else. And when it comes to BTS and their relationship with armies, BTS makes the call. That's the gist of the interview. He, in essence, is saying, like, when they make a call concerning armies, he really can't do anything about it. Okay, that's it. This Saturday, I'm going to start talking about Bangtan Universe. So I will do Begins Youth first, and then I'll backtrack and actually talk about the entire thing. So from the start of Bangtan Universe. Just everything that I know. Of course, as always, I don't claim to know everything, and I don't claim to be 100% correct. So this is just from my own interpretation. So if you want, please also follow me on Patreon, also on X and Twitter, and on Instagram. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit that notification button so that you know there's a new video getting published, and share the video if you can. I am so grateful for all of you. Thank you. I appreciate you.